In the standard controls itself, we do have some controls for the specific purpose. Let's consider those controls here. Like, let's start with the add rotator. Add rotator basically is a control which will use an XML file in order to get the list of all the advertisements which I want to show on a particular page. It will just display the image, and when I'll click on that particular image as an advertisement, I will be navigated to that particular site for which the advertisement is there. File upload is a very useful and common control where you can just upload a file of a particular format, of a particular file, which of a particular format and size, which you can filter during the runtime. And as you may have noticed, this file upload control in any of the application where you were asked for a profile picture or your resume, so you use file upload control at that particular time. Image map is something when you want to give multiple hyperlinks on the same image based on the particular area. For example, there is a world map and I want, if someone clicks on the Asia, I'll give the information of the Asia. Similarly for Australia, I want to redirect to some other page. So such things can be done using the image map. Similarly, we have a container control such as panel, which is capable enough of containing multiple controls inside itself. And if you want to give the different views in a same page, you can go for multi-view. Means there is an inbox, there is a sent items, and you want to show both at the same page. So multi-view control can help you in that particular situation. Placeholder control is used for adding the controls at runtime. So whenever you want at runtime some controls like text box or anything should be added, then I can go for the placeholder, which will make this task easier for us. So let's see a practical implementation here where we will implement all these controls now.
So for implementing the add rotator, first of all what we'll do is we'll come to Solution Explorer, we will right click on my project name and we'll add one XML file. So let's come to add new item, and here in the list I will choose the XML file. In this XML file, I'll give a list of all the advertisements which I want to show in the add rotator. So let's name it ads.xml, inside which you will get something called the XML declaration tag, which is using the version 1.0 encoding UTF-8. If you want, you can also specify the standalone, that is yes for this one. So here what I'll do, I'll just put some details for the add rotator. As here you can see, first of all I have taken one document element tag, that is the root tag named advertisements. So inside this advertisements, it will be closed at the end itself, and between them we will put all the list of ads which I want to show. So for each ad I will use one ad tag. As you can see here, the XML tags are case sensitive, so please be sure about the cases as well. And inside this I can pass the things like image URL, navigate URL, alternate text and impressions. For image URL, as you can see, I have specified a path from the root directory. This tilde represents the root directory. Inside this we have the folder called images, and then inside we have red.png. So if I'll come to Solution Explorer, I will get in root directory, I'll get a folder called images. Inside this I can get blue, green, red, yellow. These are nothing but the logo of Tutorialspoint in different colors. So here you can see I have just navigate URL. In navigate URL means when you will click over that image, you will be redirected to the Tutorialspoint site. Alright, from this example I have just put the navigate URL same for all the advertisements, but obviously as per the advertisement you can change the navigate URL. Alternate text will come into action when your path of the image is not right, or maybe image is renamed or moved. So in case when the image will not be able to load it on the add rotator, in that case this alternate text will come. And then finally it is impressions. So this impressions will be like in ratio in a non sequential manner. Like if 8 users are making the request for this particular page in which you have put the add rotator control, then out of that 4 users will get red.png, 2 will get yellow.png, 1 will get green, 1 will get blue. As I said, it will not be in a particular order, but yes, it will be set as a priority. Alright, means the maximum time user will be watching the red, then yellow, and then green and blue. So it depends on the impressions. Obviously, it depends on how much someone is paying for the advertisement. And now, once your this document is ready, you can just pass that in the add rotator control. So for that, I'll come to my page, and here I will choose toolbox, and inside this toolbox, the first control alphabetically is the add rotator. So let's bring it here and come to the property. The default property for any add rotator control is the advertisement file. So as here you can see, there is a property called advertisement file. Here you can simply come and choose the XML file which you have set. Alright, now in the property, alternate text field is alternate text, means here if you want to change the name of the tags, you can do it. Alright, but by default these are the things which I have used in my XML document. So let's execute it. If you want, by default the image will come in the default size. If you want to change, you can definitely set the height and width of the add rotator from here itself. Alright, but for me the image sizes are good, so I'll just continue with the default size. So here, as you can see, by default red is coming. It's not a slideshow, like it will not be changed automatically. You will have to make another request for getting some different advertisement. So I'll have to reload it. Now it's green, now it's blue, now it's green. Alright, so I'll keep on refreshing, and as you can see, maximum time when I'm refreshing, I'm getting red, now yellow, blue, again red. Alright, since the impression value of red is the highest, so that's why you can see like maximum time I'm getting red image only. Alright, so this is how, as I said, in a non-particular manner you will get the images of the advertisement. Now let's discuss about the file upload control. So for implementing this particular control, I have taken a file upload control from the toolbox. Right here, as you can see, you will get a file upload control, and right after that I have taken a button where I have changed the text with upload and the ID with btn upload. So when I'll click on browse button, I will be able to choose a particular file which I want to upload. By default you can upload file of any extension. So here, after that, when I'll click on upload, it will be saved on the directory. So here in the server path itself, I have created a folder with the name data, inside which I want to save my uploaded content. So on the button click event, what I have done is, there is a path in the root directory which is name is data, right? But this path, this directory will be there on the server side. So for stating that, I'm using this server object right here. In the previous videos we have already covered few objects. Here I'm covering the server object, alright, the predefined object of ASP.NET, and inside that particular object server I'll get the method called map path, inside which I have put the path called tilde, that is the root directory, and in root directory we have the folder called data. And as soon as you will click the button, this file upload will save the data, will save the particular file in this particular path with the default file name. Means if you will upload the file called abc.txt, it will save with the same name. If you want, you can change the name of the file while uploading that. So let's click on the execute button, and here I'll choose file. Let's say I choose data.login.txt. I'll say open. Here you can see the name. Just click on upload. No file chosen means the data is properly uploaded. If you want, you can just put a label or literal control to put a text like it uploaded successfully, or if there is any failure. So here you can see inside data I got the login.txt. Similarly, if I'll execute it again, I'll choose the file of some other extension, let's say an Excel file. So just click on upload, and it got uploaded. So here you can see the couple of files. Let me refresh this. Couple of files of different type have been uploaded. Now after that, if you want to choose, like you want only the PDF file or document file or the image file, you can do that as well. How? For that, first of all, you will have to focus on the MIME type, that is multi-purpose internet mail extension. So for that MIME type, how can I get that? String MIME is equal to file upload control name dot posted file dot content type. This content type will return the MIME of the particular type, or if you want to validate the upload on the basis of the size of the file, like somewhere you would have seen like maximum image of size 5 MB will be uploaded. So if you want to put the restriction of that type, you can simply go for content length, which will return an integer which will be the bytes. So later you can convert that byte into kilobytes, megabytes as per your requirement. Here I'm going to validate on the basis of the type. So here I put content type, and right after that I'll put the conditions like if MIME is equal to image slash JPEG, that is the major type image and minor type is JPG. Similarly, let's put OR conditions. I'll put 2-3 extension images here. Like if I want PNG, if I want to go for GIF, I want to get all those type of images. So if it is like that, then in that case, I will upload the file. Else, as I said, you can put any label literal control to put the error message. Here I'm just using response.write, and I can put a string out there, invalid file type. Alright, so let me remove the existing 2 files from the list. Alright, now my folder is empty again. Let's execute this page, choose file, and now if I'll go for the Excel file, I'll say upload, it will say invalid file type. Now let me go for an image, PNG image, image1.png. I said upload, it didn't say anything, means it would have done. Image2.jpg, this is the JPG extension. Let's click on upload, it said nothing. Now let's check. Coming to the solution explorer, let me refresh this folder again. Image1.png, image2.jpg. So this is how you can just put the particular validations and you can upload the file on the respective folder with some specific type file and a specific size of the file. So this is how you can work with the file upload control. As just in this video we have covered this file upload control. Now if I want to make the common feature for both the controls like file upload as well as this upload button, I can put them all in the common control called the panel. Panel is basically a container control which gives a common feature or common functionality to the multiple controls which resides inside it. As now I have put this particular control like file upload and button inside this panel. So if I want to go for a common feature, like if I want to make them invisible or visible, similarly if I want to make them enabled or disabled combinedly, so I can put them all in the panel and then I will give that particular format to the panel control itself. So let's do one thing. Outside of the panel I'll put one control where I will write show height. Alright, so when I'll click on this button, let me change the ID as well, btn underscore show height. And now when I'll click it, what I'll want to do is panel1 dot visible is equal to not panel1 dot visible. Means if it is visible it will make it invisible, if it is invisible it will make it visible, it will toggle between two. So alright, let me remove the code which is associated with that. Now that function is gone, I'll have to remove this. Okay, now let's execute it again. So you see, show height, I just worked for the panel and along with that both the controls inside that are getting affected. Alright, so this is how you can use this container control panel and can affect multiple controls altogether. So now let's discuss about the multi-view control. For multi-view control, first of all from this list I will take a multi-view control, and as the name says multi-view, I can put multiple view controls inside it. So here 1, 2, 3 views have been put inside it. Now you can also come to source to check, like, okay, you have 3 views inside this multi-view. Each view inside this is a container control. That means you can start designing as you do in a page. It will follow the card layout. That means out of all the 3 view, only one view will be on the top, means only one view will be visible at a time. So you can design 3 very different layout and only one can be shown. But here I'll not do much things, rather I'll just put an h2 tag inside it where I'll say view 1, and similarly I'll put in the other twos, that is view 2 and view 3. Alright, so let's come here in design view again. As you can see, right, so by default none of the view will be visible. If you want to make some default, you can do that by coming to the page load, where you can see multi-view 1 dot active view index is equal to 0. Alright, because first view 1 was at index 0, then 1, 2 and so on, as index always starts with 0 itself. Now if you want, you can just put some buttons out here, like I'll take 3 buttons, one for each, like view 1, view 2 and view 3. Alright, now again when I'll click on the button 1, I want to show the first view itself. Similarly on the second view to click, I want first index. Similarly on this button, I want this one. So now let's execute this. So by default view 1 is here, view 2, view 3. Alright, as at once only one view is visible. That is the concept of working with the multi-view control. And at last we'll cover the placeholder control, as placeholder control is used for adding the controls at the runtime. We have already covered the literal control, which was used to add the text at the runtime. Here we'll see how to add a control. So for that, first of all we will take the placeholder control. So let's come, it will come alphabetically. Here is the placeholder, and after that on the button click I want to add the control at runtime. So let's click here and say add. Let's resize this. Alright, so let's double click over it, and this button method will get created. Click method will be created. So basically what happens whenever you take a control, it is basically an instantiation of a class. For example, if I am taking a text box, so here we have a class called text box, which we will find inside system.web.ui.webControls. And whenever you take a text box or button like that, this class will get instantiated and you will get that particular control in the page. So here what I'll do, text box 1 is equal to new text box. I just instantiated that. You can set any particular property which you want, like if you want to change the text mode, if you want to change the height, width of the text box, you can do that all, and later once you are done, you can just simply put that inside the placeholder. So placeholder 1 dot controls dot add, and here I'll put text box 1. As you can see in the parameter, it is taking the control type, which is the base class of all the controls in ASP.NET. So you can add any type of control inside it. For example, just now I have added the text box. Similarly, if I want to add a button also, I will take the button class object, like button 1 is equal to new button, and then button 1 with small b dot text is equal to new button. Alright, and then I can add that inside the placeholder. So let's execute it now. So I'll click on this add button and I'll get a couple of controls like a text box and new button. So this is how you can start working with the placeholder controls for adding the controls at the runtime.